Hello and welcome. My name is Saja, and today we're going to be talking about lessons. Specifically, the lessons that your mother never taught you, the things your mother never taught you. Um, and the reason why I chose this topic as a topic for today's video is because when you look at our society today, you can see that there are a lot of things that we as women have been taught that we need to do away with. Certain things that we think are okay, or certain things that we just simply don't know that are not benefiting us. I want to better the collective. I want to better all of us as a community, as women. And the only way that we can do that is if we get some common ground. So that way we, the present generation of women, are able to lead the next generation of women into their womanhood securely, as God calls us to do. So today I'm here to share some things that maybe a lot of young girls out there or even women out there have not learned yet that are essential towards building up a life that is fearfully and wonderfully made, with Christ in the center and with your values at the forefront of everything that you do. So let's get into point number one. Things your mother never taught you. Point one, how to fail gracefully. And like I previously said, we're doing this with Christ. We're doing this with God. We're doing this with Bible-backed boundaries. So we're going straight in with the Bible verse first. And this verse is Proverbs 24, verse 16, which says, "For the righteous falls 7 times and rises again, but the wicked stumble in the times of calamity." This verse really highlights that there is beauty in knowing how to fail. Knowing how to fail. Yes, there is an art to failure. If nobody's ever taught you that, if nobody's ever told you that, there is an art to failure. There is a way to go about failure where it doesn't have to be the end. And a lot of people out there, when they fail, they come to this belief that it means that everything is over. Everything you've done, everything you've worked for, it's just thrown straight out of the window. And that's not true. Every single failure, no matter what you are failing from, no matter what thing you have failed in, it always has something that you could benefit from it. It always has something that you can take from it. Even if the only thing that you can take from it is a lesson. Okay? Even if the only thing you could take from it is a lesson. Failure always brings forth something. There is always something to be taken forth from failure. Even if it's just a deeper understanding of why God leads you in certain directions. Failure always brings forth something. So when you fail, learn how to pull the good from it and prepare better for your tomorrow. Prepare better for your tomorrow. Don't let one thing crash and burn and create the forest fire. Put out that one fire, take the lesson, and continue to improve your life. Don't let one instance destroy absolutely everything else. Don't let it destroy everything else. Because that one instance is that one failure in that one space. It is not the end of your life. You woke up today. It's not the end. Everything isn't gone because your life is still here. And that is everything. And now moving on to point number 2. Things your mother never taught you. Point 2. Navigating difficult relationships. And here we have Isaiah 40 verse 31, which says, "But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." The reason why I chose this verse for the point on navigating difficult relationships is because it really is meant to emphasize how God gives you strength. He gives you strength. And He gives you strength in all things. Not just your day-to-day activities, not just in the gym, not just in school, not just in your job, but in your relationships as well. So if you are struggling with relationship difficulties, if you're struggling to navigate the difficulties that emerge from being in a relationship, whether that's friendship, whether that's a family relationship, or whether that's a romantic relationship, make God the center. Make His principles the center. Invite God into every relationship that you step into, even if it's a business relationship. Pray over that business relationship. Invite God into those spaces. because he will keep both of you strong, and he can soften the hearts of each of you, making each one of you receptive to the other. You do not have to go through relationship difficulties by yourself. I know in a lot of Hispanic households and black households, and shoot, if you're not of either one of those demographics, you may still be able to relate to this. But I know in these two types of households specifically, talking about certain types of relationships, like for example romantic relationships, is typically frowned upon. Like young women being in relationships is typically frowned upon. So it can be very difficult for you to know how to navigate those relationships if you're not even supposed to be in them, you know? So there are a lot of women out there that just don't know how to navigate relationships because they were never passed down that level of wisdom. That's something that your mother never taught you. That's something that your aunties didn't teach you, that nobody spoke to you about. So I'm here to say, if you still have, people that you can't talk to about these types of things, people you can't go to get this type of advice, the type of advice that pertains to romantic relationships, then just know that God can lead you in that. God can lead you in that. He can lead you in any relationship. So if you're navigating difficult relationships, just know you don't have to do it alone. You have a God that's looking out for you and who's going to know the heart of the person that you're associating with better than any other person. You may go to human beings for advice, but we can't read minds. God can. God can see their heart, and he can reveal to you exactly how you should be fighting for them, if you should be fighting for them at all. So just know you don't have to do it on your own. Again, you don't have to do it on your own. So that's point number 2. And now we're going to be moving on to point number 3. Things your mother never taught you. Point 3. Confidence in saying no. And for this point, we have Matthew 5, verse 37, which says, "Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil." This verse is telling you, be confident in one of those answers. Either the yes or the no. Be confident in those answers. And it highlights that both of these answers are valid and are essential. Both of these answers are both valid and essential. Not just the yes, but also the no. You shouldn't only be saying yes. You should also learn how to say no, because the no's are just as protective as the yeses. And I know typically in society, women are taught to be agreeable and to be kind. And even in scripture, it speaks of these things. The ability to be kind, to be soft-hearted, to be compassionate, to be reasonable. All of these things are things that women have been called to be. And they're vital. They are essential. But sometimes, in order to protect yourself as a woman, you have to say no to some things. Because no's help reinforce boundaries. Okay? They help reinforce boundaries. And boundaries are essential. They are essential to the preservation of life. When God created this earth, he told the land, you stop here. And he told the sea, you stop here. He created a clear boundary between the two. And he did so that way he could preserve the lives of each being that was supposed to live in each space. God said, see, you can't come but this far. Why? Because I need to make man on land, and I need to make trees on land. So that way man can breathe and man can live. So you have to stop here. Though the sea is beautifully made, majestic and mighty, powerful, it has boundaries, because boundaries on creation help preserve life. They bring balance. Everything can't run amok. There needs to be order in order to keep life moving forward. So the yeses are essential, and so are the no's. Be okay with no. Be okay with it. As women, we need it. We need it to preserve our lives and our values and our hopes and our faith. Be okay with no. Be okay with no. It doesn't compromise you being kind. It doesn't compromise you being compassionate. It doesn't compromise you being loving. If anything, it helps preserve it. And now moving on to our final point. Things your mother never taught you. Point 4. How to embrace change. And here we have Jeremiah 29 verse 11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." You know, as women, we want stability. Stability. We want safety and we want stability. So sometimes it can be hard for us to embrace change because change is unknown. Change can sometimes look good and turn out bad. Change can sometimes look bad and turn out good. You don't know. You don't know. So a lot of the time, it can be very difficult for us as women to embrace it because it brings so much unknown. But it's necessary. So if nobody's ever taught you that it's okay to change and it's okay to embrace the fact that you're changing, I'm here to tell you today that changing is a good thing. Things must change and they must evolve and they must move forward. So even if you are changing, even if things are changing, just know that this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Even if it appears bad, even if the outcome is quote unquote bad. Like I said in the beginning, there's always a lesson to be learned from bad, just off of that point alone. But it's gonna come. It's gonna come. So take it in, learn what you can learn from it, and let God lead you in it. Okay. And that's everything. Please let me know what you think down below. I love to hear what you guys think about my videos. I literally love to hear. I love to hear what you guys think. So please comment, like, share this with somebody who could use this video. And yeah, thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you for sharing, liking, all that thing. It really, all those things, all the things. Okay. Thank you for doing, for just being here. Thank you for everything. Okay. Because it really is such a blessing when you guys do these things, when you guys share, like, support, watch. I love it. I love this community. I'm very appreciative for you guys. And you guys really help me out. You guys really do help me out. So, yeah. That should be everything. So, as per usual, I am not gonna do all that, but